What's up, good people? So, in this video, what I want to discuss is what it's like working in the corporate world when you're gay, black, and a female, and more so being this female in a male dominated industry, aka IT. Now, IT is my day job. I do Amazon Flex on the side. However, I never really had anybody tell me, what it was going to be like, what to expect. So I kind of just had to go in blind. And the first time I actually had my first IT job working in the office, I was scared as hell. I was so uncomfortable. Originally, everybody was remote because it was during the COVID era, but mind you, I'm brand new, don't know a thing. And even though, yeah, I got that associate's degree, I'm a person that learns by doing. So I kind of already knew going into this that I was going to struggle, with the first job, whatever. But you got to start somewhere, and just because you don't know it doesn't mean you can't learn it. That's how I live. So when they brought everybody back, they had like this big, lavish little lunch or whatever. And I'm not going to lie, I didn't see any black people. Then originally I learned that, it was like one black person on each team. So I sat by myself and I actually text my mother, like, you ever been uncomfortable like this, Mom? She like, nah. So I was about to put my headphones in, but the owner and a member of one of the account managers sat down or whatnot at my table. And everybody's just talking. Like I said, I really was just looking around scared. And this is a challenge. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like the office I was in, they were kind of, still stuck on the old school vibes and stuff like that. Now, yes, I look different. I'm not trans. I have a hormone disorder. I grow facial hair. It used to get on my nerves. I used to be embarrassed about it, but I'm not. But being in the office, you get the looks, you get the slurs. Like my first day, starting to try to take tickets and stuff, a guy walks up to the desk and goes, yeah, back in the service, it was funny because you knew who didn't know how to swim, because when you looked at the kiddie pool, it was all the black people lined up. And I just looked at him like, excuse me? I mean, and he just said it with so much confidence. And I just said, oh, no offense taken at all. Looking at him like, dude, seriously? He gave me a hard time. My team gave me a hard time. And it was just, even though I was trying my hardest, it just kind of seemed like it wasn't enough. Not to mention, I was dealing with some racist customers. Now, don't get me wrong. Y'all know that 98% of the time when you talk to somebody on the phone, you can tell that either they're foreign, they're white, or they're of color. And it's just so crazy how a lot of times when I would talk to these customers, you got the nonchalant, the people that think they're above the law, just blatantly disrespectful, tell lies on you, start problems with you. I had to deal with being kicked off of tickets, all because somebody was upset that I couldn't give them what they didn't know that they wanted. It was just ridiculous. I had to deal with all types of stuff like this. When Pride Month came around, I asked, hey, is it a problem if I wear my pins around the office? Oh, no, that's fine. Go ahead. So in my cubicle, I had my little flag up. Every day that I came to work, my flag was either under the floor. I mean, not under the floor. Under the desk, on the floor, taken down or sitting somewhere in a corner on my desk every day. That's what I had to deal with. And asking for help on something, I would get attitude. It was like you were in trouble for not knowing, but you also were in trouble for not trying. So what do you want me to do? But anybody that didn't look like me, because mind you, like I said, I was the only black person on my team, they didn't get it so hard. I was given a computer that was older than everyone else's. and I was having issues with this computer. I'm asking for help like, hey, yo, what? I don't have time to help you fix your own computer. You gave me this computer. I shouldn't even be having these issues. None whatsoever. But then when it would come down to people that came after me, new people, they're receiving newer computers. I didn't receive a new computer until 2 years later. How is that fair? I made sure that every day I came in there, I showed respect. I made sure that I didn't get into it with anybody. Was always calm. You know what I'm saying? There was a period of time where I had issues with construction, and I always ended up like 10 minutes late during this whole construction phase. You know what I'm saying? But that was not their fault, and I took full responsibility for it. So when they finally gave me my final warning, like, look, we tired of talking to you about this. Yeah, the next morning I was outside the building waiting on them to open the damn door. There was a time where I watched a account manager. He goes through this back door, and I'm getting on my car. He sees me walking behind him. He decides to go on the door and then close it and lock it. I was talked over when there were answers that I knew to questions that they were trying to figure out. Hey, no, do this. This is what they do. This is the type of VPN they use. Talked over. And then when they get to the answer, and I'm like, so I was right. Literally, somebody went, oh, sorry, did you say something? Some of my work was being sabotaged when I was doing something right, or I was working on a ticket. We had another individual who I actually looked up to because I thought they were just like the smartest person in the world, and I wanted to be like them. You know, when it came down to having that type of knowledge and being able to just attack things so confidently. And just for them to turn around to try to sabotage me, to work on my tickets while I'm working on them, just to make themselves feel better. And I'm like, why not just sit there and assist me? Go into depth with me. I pretty much was thrown into my position, so I'm trying. I would try the harder tickets. Then it got down to the point, instead of just having a conversation with me about, hey, Dominique, just lay off, sit back on these tickets. I see what you're doing, but it's not really working out. We'll have to train you. I would get dogged. We would have meetings, and the entire time my manager was doing his talking, he's just staring at me. So if that's the case, then why not sit down one-on-one with me and talk to me? And say, this ain't working. I see what you're trying to do. But no, you need some extra training on it, or we just gonna leave these tickets to somebody that has a little bit more experience, that's more comfortable. And yeah, I should have slowed down, but in this place, I would have this fear of, if you don't take the ticket, you're going to get in trouble. If you take the ticket, they might lay off you a little bit, but then here goes this. I didn't have nobody I could really vent to for real. You know, I was semi-close with one person, but they weren't black. So of course they're not really going to get it. They're not going to see my perspective. They don't live in my world. I once went to a gathering. Of course, you know, people bringing their spouses. I never really brought anybody except for one time I brought my sister. And even then, nobody really talked to us. They just stared at us as we talked amongst ourselves. And, you know, I'm shaking hands, meeting spouses, and someone's wife looks at me, looks me up and down. So what do? Not what team are you on? And part of me wanted to answer and say, oh, you know, I get the coffee, I get the mail, you know, I vacuum, I send emails if they need me to do so. Because that was the look that she had in her eyes. The ex-owners, when they would show up to the gatherings, the husband would always give me this look of disgust. The wife would always make this comment, "Oh, I'm so happy you're still here. See, I knew it. I said this girl has some fight to her." No, it's more of a, "Bitch, you still here? They ain't fired you yet? Wow, I'm surprised you lasted this long." And when we would have our, yearly reviews, I would always get asked these questions. So, what are your plans for being here? Where do you see yourself? Okay. And at first, I was thinking, okay, you looking at me wondering, do I have a future? Do you got some plans for me? But as things started building up, it was more so of a, when the fuck are you gonna leave? Every day I would walk in this place and I would have this nervous energy. Is it going to be a good day or is it going to be a bad day? It was like being in a Mean Girls environment. You can't sit with us. My team will be sitting there joking. Maybe others will come over, sit there and talk. Oh, yeah, just laughing back and forth. I tell a little small joke. What do I get? A bunch of rolled eyes. Towards the end, we had a meeting and I just asked a small question at the beginning. My boss dogged the shit out of me in front of the whole team. Now, part of me wanted to pick up the damn computer and throw it at him. Yeah, I did. But it was like, you trying your hardest to provoke me to go off. Why not just simply tell me you don't want me here no more? That day, I actually went home crying. And that's when I finally decided, you know what, it's time to start looking for a new job. Because at this place, it took me so long to leave. I lasted there about 2.5 years. It took me so long to leave this place because the way they made me feel, it was like, I'm not going to get a job anywhere else. I'm lucky that y'all even hired me. That's how I felt. Shouldn't nobody feel that way. However, when I left, I did tell myself this. I'm not dealing with that shit no more. I'm going to speak the fuck up. That was something I had to tell myself, because one thing about me, I would put on this shy, timid persona. You know what I'm saying? But it was just more so of me just trying to show people, hey, no, I'm not an angry black woman, because that's how we're portrayed. But what I learned is, yeah, you're right. We're not the angry black woman. The problem is you guys are provoking us. Saying ignorant shit, doing little dumb shit. Just because you're mad that we're in the office. No, I'm sorry. Not every black person has to be a nurse. Shout out to the nurses, by the way. Not every black person needs to be working in a nursing home. Shout out to the healthcare workers, by the way. I'm sorry. That's not just what we stuck to. I'm not the nanny. I'm not about to just sit there and be a cook. Shout out to my restaurant workers. We deserve to be up here too. But the way the society is out here, they get so damn mad when they see you walking into this office. So my next job, the guy I started working with, yeah, I was a little nervous because it was like I had PTSD from this last job. And it was so different because the last job worked with many different companies, as versus I'm just only focusing on one customer this time. Just the internal IT for this particular company. So as I'm sitting there waiting for tickets, I'm like about to have a panic attack because of my old job. You know, what you doing? Why you just sitting there? Well, it's quiet on the ticket board. I was just making, well, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of the energy I was giving. And a dude looking at me like, relax. So yeah, he had some sarcasm to him or whatnot. And then I looked at him, I said, you know, I can match your energy, right? Me and that guy became like brother and sister. Now, originally the people in the building, they wasn't messing with me. They would look for him in a heartbeat. Oh, hey, you the new girl? Oh, okay. Yeah. Hey, where's the other guy? And then it's crazy that I actually had to make my debut, that somebody actually came to the door and I said, well, what's wrong? He's working on something else. Let me take a look. And if I can't get it, I'll go hunt him down. No problem. It took that one time just for people to start going, oh, we like her. She wants answers. She goes for it. She goes all the way above and beyond to make sure we can get back to working. Unfortunately, the company that was paying me to work at this job screwed me over, but I'll talk about them in another video. The place I am now, it's like another challenge. And it's not so much the staff, it's just you got to sit there and make your debut. And it's like you got to kind of figure things out without much guidance. And it's like you want to do a good job because this perception that a lot of people have is black people are just dumb and they just can't do anything, when that's not the truth. Now, me personally, stupidity is a choice. You choose to do dumb stuff. And the thing is, if you do something dumb and you didn't know any better, go ask for help. But if you do the same thing over and over when you were told otherwise and told this is not the way to do it, then yeah, that's the choice. You're doing that to yourself. But I just wanted to get this off my chest. Don't let this discourage y'all from going into the office. If anything, let this uplift y'all and have your head held high and be able to say, I can do this job. I belong, because yes, you do belong. It's not just them. Everybody belongs.